Something seriously alarming to talk about today. An event that literally brings the harsh realities of a neighboring war right into NATO territory. We are looking at what is easily the most serious incident of its kind in Romania since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. It's a complex story about geography, high-stakes geopolitics, and most importantly, the immediate human toll. Let's break down exactly how this whole thing unfolded.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to set the scene. Picture this. It's just before 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the dead of night. We are talking about a massive residential block of flats, and we're looking specifically at the very top, the 10th floor. At this hour, you've got dozens of families inside, fast asleep. Just imagine the sudden, absolute terror that shattered that silence when a drone slammed directly into the roof of their building.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The 10th floor strike.
So what actually happened? Well, this drone didn't just clip the building, it made direct, violent contact with the roof. Actually, the elevator shaft took the absolute brunt of the impact. And because of exactly where it hit, the flat situated immediately below was completely devastated. This is where the physical human toll becomes so real. A mother and her teenage son who were inside that flat were injured in the blast. And, there's a really terrifying realization here. If the trajectory had been even slightly different, like if this thing had hit any lower on that crowded residential building, the devastation would have been exponentially worse.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't some remote, isolated military outpost. Not at all. The strike happened right smack in the middle of a busy Romanian city. But the truly defining factor is the geography. This city sits very, very close to the Ukrainian border. For the people living there, the physical distance between safety and an active war zone has essentially just evaporated. The conflict has literally arrived right on their doorstep.
Moving on to Section 2, Voices from the Ground.
There is a stark, incredibly heartbreaking contrast happening here. On one hand, you have the expectation. Citizens had been repeatedly assured of their safety. The baseline assumption of everyday life was, they'd told us we are protected by NATO. There will be no problem. But then, you have the shattered reality of the situation, and look where we are now. It perfectly captures that immediate sense of betrayal and intense vulnerability when a massive geopolitical shield seemingly fails to stop a drone from hitting your own roof.
And that vulnerability, it translates directly into lasting trauma. Just listen to the words of a resident facing the immediate aftermath of this midnight strike. I am afraid if I go back to my flat tonight, I will sleep with fear. The physical hole in the building's roof might get patched up, but the psychological hole, that remains. The fundamental human right to just feel safe in your own bed has been completely stripped away.
Naturally, this deep-seated fear is totally shaping how locals view the future of this conflict. Another resident expressed a really grim, fatalistic outlook, sharing their belief that the war is probably going to last a few more years. When you ask them about international responses or sanctions, their view is incredibly blunt. They can take everything from Russia, but they will still attack. For the people on the ground, economic sanctions feel entirely useless when a physical weapon is just blown apart their home. They just want their allies to step up and physically prevent these strikes.
Let's zoom out a bit. Section 3. The geopolitical consequences.
So what is the official explanation? Well, the Romanian president laid out a very clear three-step sequence of events. First off, they state there is definitive evidence that this was indeed a Russian drone. Second, the intended target wasn't actually Romania. It was originally launched against Ukraine. And third, the official stance is that the drone simply veered off its intended course, which resulted in this accidental strike on a civilian building.
But, accidental or not, this builds into an incredibly tense international situation. The stakes here are absolutely massive. Remember, Romania isn't just a neighboring country. It is a full member of NATO, and it's a member of the European Union. The citizens are looking directly to those powerful allies to ensure this doesn't ever happen again. The entire concept of collective security is being tested in real time right now. So, what does this all mean? It leaves us with one massive, pressing question. How exactly will a NATO and EU country respond to a military strike within its own borders? A drone crashing into a 10th floor apartment while families are sleeping brings unprecedented tension to the entire region. How Romania and its allies navigate this moment is absolutely going to shape the future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning what you see out there.